file S for India? Has this become to
I'm
the,
going
I mean,
to bring
come
in
to
Dr.
that?
Malpani because Dr. Malpani, you are one of the most prominent reproductive specialists first with IVF, and you were in that controversy also a few years ago about gender determination, and when you said that why shouldn't couples be able to choose whether they want to have a boy or a girl. But that same logic, when you say it's the right of choice versus the right of, whether you use the word ethics, whether you use it of morality or just of medical health, the lines are getting blurred and perhaps doctors are going too far.
So I think some of the criticism is valid. I think we need to understand why we've got into this situation. I think we also need to remember that the ICMR has been having discussions with the public and with doctors as to what surrogacy should be allowed and not be allowed. The tragedy, of course, is that you've had discussions for 10 years. The ART bill has been in complete limbo, and that bill said no altruistic surrogacy, only commercial surrogacy. The logic being is that mother-in-laws would pressurize family members to become surrogates even if they didn't want to. And my only point is that everyone seems to think that Indian women who are poor are stupid and cannot make decisions for themselves, which is why the government needs to step in. But my point is going to be slightly different. I think in one sense we have to accept the fact that the government felt the need. We can't just assume all IVF clinics are good. The reality is that some of them have done this, which is why matters came to the government and the government decided to step in. We've had enough of these stories of these stateless children which are effectively abandoned. And then whose baby is it to manage that? My point is the solution which you're offering, set up a bill, set up a commission, do all this, is a very expensive solution which really I don't think our country can afford, given the fact that you have limited resources and it's going to affect a small number of couples. So here's an effective alternative which allows regulations, which respects the right of people to do surrogacy for medically indicated reason, and that is you already have a central adoption resource agency which is a nodal agency to help couples to adopt a baby. Why not allow that same agency to be the nodal agency for surrogacy? Which means if a couple decided they wanted to go surrogacy, they would register with the CARA. The CARA would say adoption is an option. We are social workers. We have no vested interest, no financial interest. So the doctor would refer the people to CARA. They would explain both the options. Then the couple would say, fine, we understand, we want to go to the surrogacy option. The CARA would then screen the surrogate moms to make sure that they weren't exploited. So the money would then go into an escrow account. So the doctors then no longer making, what is the criticism been? That IVF doctors are getting rich on the backs of these poor women by exploiting them. Now, I'm sure some doctors are good and won't do that, but how can you be sure that all doctors will be equally good? And this way, if the money goes into an escrow account, I think everyone's interests get served. The IVF doctor does what he's good at, which is the medical procedure. The surrogate, because she's protected by the CARA, gets the money which is due to her. And there's adequate counseling and checks and balances built in.
But let me just ask